I am working in a shed again, and this is a temporary one. I've built a garage where it can later be used as a garage, but it's giving me a temporary place to be and to store all my stuff and to paint in a more spacious area. This building, which I set out to get built on a little cottage that I've purchased in the country town, it took me like 9 months to get built, which was ridiculous, and it almost surpassed its purpose by the time it got erected. It was only just finished a few weeks ago. And the reason I initially put it up, or tried to, was because I wanted to have a temporary place to work while I was working out, where I was going to end up. But the problem is it got caught up in all the COVID nonsense, and just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with it getting delivered to the site. But eventually it arrived and it got built fairly quickly once it did. And I have moved 6 by 6 meters. I've got a great big 5-meter door, which I'll just spin around and show you. Hang on. There we go. So see that one there, right? That's a big roller door, and that can be used to regulate the sun. That door, because of the site, it couldn't be any other way, but it conveniently faces east. So depending on the time of the year, I've been doing a lot of study in passive solar design so that I can understand how to get the best light into the studio for working. And I have learnt so much, and I can't believe that I went through my entire career without really understanding how important passive solar design is for your studio. And it's not just about the heating principles. What really matters to us as artists is excellent light. And the best possible light that you can get for painting with is diffused light. Everything you learn when you start studying passive design, and this pertains to Australia, is that the northern sun is what you work with if you can in order to light and heat your home. That's not necessarily your studio, which has other different needs. Of course, it's nice to get the warmth in there, but that northern light disrupts your ability to work to some degree. The sun, we all know that the sun rises and sets in different places, whether it's summer or winter and in between. And you've got those in between times, which is what they call the equinox. So the sun in the summer sort of tends to have a great big, much more, it's out for longer, but it starts further across, and it goes up and then right more over the top and then down, and it sort of sets further to the south, and the same as it's rising further to the south. So it sort of goes in this great big arch up over the top and then right over there. Whereas the winter sun starts further to the north, and it has a smaller arch, but it goes sort of sideways in the sky. So it goes like that, right? And it sets further in the north to west. So it's easier on a diagram. So in the winter, you can utilize that low traveling sun by the fact that it can come in through your windows and doors on the northern side, and it belts the light in and everything. But as an artist, that's a real problem because in the winter, because the sun's sort of beaming in, creating all sorts of, light beams everywhere, which are lovely and antidepressants, but absolutely terrible for trying to work with it because of that, the direct sunlight belting onto your paintings, making it just impossible. I mean, you can get around it by putting, if you've got beautiful northern light, by putting the translucent blinds to diffuse the light, and that works quite well. Now, in the summer, it's not as bad because the sun is higher up in the sky. So then the way to deal with it, so that this is from the passive principle, so it doesn't heat your house. Oh, by the way, when it's coming in like that into a house with, say, a concrete pad in the winter, it warms the pad. If you've got tiled floors, it comes in and it warms it, and that heat transfers and basically creates passive heating. It's a wonderful thing to think about and to study. So in the summer, it's traveling over higher, but you do tend to get more streaks of light, like in the east and the west coming in in the summer, because it starts rising and setting further around. So in the summer though, what you do to try and stop it from coming into the house and heating it is, there's a really cool website, I'll find it and I'll put the link in, that shows you exactly, you put in how high your windows are on the northern side, and it shows you how wide of an eave you need to put out the front of your northern windows that won't block the the winter sun from coming in and warming your floor and doing the passive heating thing, but it will. It's quite often it's only about that wide. It'll stop the summer sun from belting in, because the sun's not going directly overhead in the summer. It's just slightly to the north, but it's a lot higher. So with the use of that in the summer, you can use the northern sun in your studio to really great effect. But you just got to be aware, if you have northern facing windows or doors that are glass in the winter in your studio, you're going to have some problems. So you need to have some sort of translucent blind or something. Now, this is the thing. So this little garage faces direct east, and what I'm finding, I'll show you, is that it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can see the sun line there coming in. Oh, Ruby's enjoying it. Don't mind my driveway, it's in the middle of getting done. Everything takes forever, but this is where the sun line comes. So if I was working in here, it's September, I would need to go deeper into the room, but it's quite good if you can afford to go deeper in the room. I can get beautiful light here if I had an easel here. But I'll show you what my trick is if you use a garage for your studio, which is an ideal thing. See that line going down? I'm using my roller door. There you go. See, I'm just blocking it a little bit, and you can control it with a roller door. Pretty clever, eh? So let's put that back up again. Okay, so the thing you can do that is the ultimate light for an artist is southern light. In the northern hemisphere, it's northern light. So I've got south-facing windows to go in here, just a couple, and you can use what they call clustery windows, which are right up high, and if you want to keep the wall space. But the southern windows literally get the sun does not touch those windows. It might sort of pass across out the front of them when it's rising and setting, but it doesn't touch the windows. So you as long as you make them pretty decent size, you could have a whole wall of glass on your southern side in Australia, and you would have no reflectory light, no sunbeams or anything coming in at all, and you could work there extremely happily with no other light source. So if you have a choice, that's the way to go. And another way you can deal with it is if you have a pitched roof and one side is south, you can put skylights on the south side, because again, as long as the roof pitch is quite high, because if the roof pitch is up like that, you're going to get a lot of sun belting in through here. So just be mindful that if you've got a reasonable pitch, like an A-frame pitch on your roof on the south side, you can do it. Anyway, these are some of the things that I've learned, and it makes a huge difference. Don't put windows on the west side. Oh, actually, you can. You can work with that. In my kitchen where I've been working in my little cottage, it has a west-facing window, and the light is fantastic, but what I have to do in the afternoon is I've got a translucent blind, and I just pull that down, and the light still comes in, but it's it's moderated. The people that work with passive design would say that's not good because the heat's coming in, but if you can control your heating, we're talking about lighting here, and what the best lighting is for you as an artist to work by. And honestly, the south light wins hands down. So I hope that's a helpful little tip. I think I might do a really good proper video on it one day for you, because I'm really excited that I've learnt about it properly, because I'm in the middle of designing a new studio, and that studio will be quite significant. It'll be a shed, which I will transform into the usage as a studio, and I just wanted to get it right. So this has actually helped me work out how not to waste that new building. For anybody that says they can't afford to build a studio, and this depends on where you live. If you live in a residential property, there are, depending on your shire, but most shires have a limit to how many square metres of outbuildings that you can have. It's usually around 60 to 70 square metres, which isn't a lot. But I could go on and on about the technicalities about that. Like if your garage is connected to your house under the same roof, it's not counted as an outbuilding. So you could use your garage, or you could actually, if you have space, build another shed. And sheds are quite cheap to build. And then as long as you insulate them, this one, I haven't even lined this one, this is just insulated. It's actually fine to work in. I've got a couple of whirlybirds up there on the roof. It'll get a bit unpleasant in the summer. But what I will do while I'm waiting to build my new shed is I will get one of those big evaporative industrial air conditioners, which are like for blokes' big sheds. I think they cover about 200 square metres or something. And I'll use one of those. They're just on wheels and you can wheel them around. And then I can use that in my next one. And if push comes to shove, just line a section of your shed and air condition it. The Shire doesn't, don't say it's a studio, because then they start thinking of like the term studio as in a studio apartment. And if you go down that road, you'll end up with other issues that are not to do with studios. Sorry, that are not to do with just basically craft rooms. So it's best to say it's for storage, or just say storage, because as soon as you say anything else, it gets a bit funny. And you're not breaking the law by saying that. You're not putting a sink in or a stove or anything. Just put one outside with a bucket or something, or use your laundry. So there's many ways you can actually, if you are not renting, that you can actually just use a shed. But lining it is key, because the lining keeps the condensation at bay. Right now I'm sitting here with it's kind of a bit rainy today, and there's door open, but I won't be here very long. I'll be getting out of here shortly. I wouldn't work here all day with the door open if it was wet, because I'm still waiting for some windows to come. That was part of the stuff up. So anyway, if you want to ask me anything about this topic, just send me a note in the message thing or wherever I'm posting this. And I hope to do you a much better one at some time in the future, because this is a lot of blah blah. I really just wanted to say g'day and tell you that I am operating and functioning. I won't be able to be in my new studio probably for another 6 to 8 months at least, and that's because I've purchased a little farm, and I'm waiting for that to just sort of settle and get organised. So I'll be excited to show you what I'm doing at that point. Okay, keep painting.